I'm just glad we can play at all, because they've been repaving the road outside, so not too much sleep. Therefore, we're going on not too much prep time today. But that means we can go straight into recap from last session, starting with Preacher.
Why, thank you very much. We decided to follow our plan, which was made up 2 streams ago, and basically kicked off assaulting the city. We had the leftmost lane with the ghosty bunch, and with my totally awesome stealth maneuver, here I am in the middle of the square, everybody. Can everybody see me? Good. Let's kick it off. And basically started the fight. Everybody else marvelously did their stealth rolls, including our Strella, which did really good. We noticed that there was a fight going on with a alchemical golem of some kind, as well as some shadows. Obviously a distraction and some kind of focal point for our attention. So we kind of zoomed in on that. And then things started to go south. There was a lot of water drinking going on, or attempts to drink water. I don't know. What do you think, Magnus?
No, Magnus thinks that there was a lot of dry water butts in the square. Yeah, somebody pulled a fast one, and several of us were struck by the sudden compulsion to drown ourselves. And everybody else shook it off pretty quickly, but it stuck around with Magnus for a while. That was very entertaining when he wasn't busy with the big sign up saying "hit me" and luring lots of attention that way, which went to everybody else's favour. And in particular, our fearless leader didn't get focused this session, which was an absolute win for Marisol.
Yeah. So we started the session last time by having a quick tip into camp. It was a very nice day where Zara pretended to be some sort of goblin with a huge sack and delivering presents. That was really fun. I got some good ones when she finally found me. Then we went to the town square there and we fought, and I was for once not ganged up on. And we finally managed to trap Cal's soul, I think. It was an interesting day. I look forward to seeing where this is leading us, and we did not manage to destroy that golem thing, even if we tried really hard. But perhaps Master Yodi can tell us a bit more about what happened.
Yeah, I was one of those people sticking my head in the bucket. I definitely wanted to drown myself, however there was no water to be found. I also became Master Iodi, Lord of the Surgeons, as I removed an eyeball from a fox and replaced it with a magical eyeball, and then ate the other one kind of like a treat. Not a great fight for me, because golems are just like my antithesis. I can't do anything but wave my fist at them in frustration. And yeah, the monk Olanavar just like absorbing Cal's soul into his hands or something. Like that was a moment. And I'll throw it to Midor.
Yeah, as with Iodi, I was also one of the ones looking to drown myself. And I happened to be running up right where all the fighting was being. I was the nearest bucket I could find. Otherwise, yeah, I got a couple of good hits for a change. And I don't think I didn't. No, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to jinx myself. But it was an interesting fight. Yes, we hopefully have Cal's soul. Though I don't know how Preacher is going to be liking having someone in his brains, I guess, in his mind or in the back seat. I don't know. I don't know what's happened. All I know is when Cal came, she literally pointed at me and said I was going to be joining her dead army, and it's undead army, and it's like, I think the hunch I had with her with a certain battle axe might have been the clue, might have been the key on that one, because Marisol just stayed behind and just plugged away, shooting at him, while I was trying to round, trying to drown or take a swing. Otherwise, everything else went. We had a gnome and was it a bunny lady? Came out of the inn and told us to get him before they attack again. Was it a bunny? Was it a bunny lady? I don't remember. Estrella, take it away.
Yeah, so before we attempted the siege, Estrella met up with Bruno again and got some questions answered and a lot more open. Yeah, in the fight, Preacher managed to not exactly free Cal, but at least she's with us again, and maybe we can do something about her alignment or something. Who knows? Or she will do something to Preacher. We will see. Nothing more to add, I think. Pretty much everything was said. Are we missing anyone? Did Sarah go?
I have not gone yet, although Zara did not particularly do much other than whammo some things yesterday, and get feared into a corner for the second half of the fight, which is always exciting. Aside from that, I think the only exciting thing was done by Edamir. Why don't you talk about what you did?
I just upgraded my eye. It's fine. People talking about hearing voices. What's wrong with a couple of voices in your head? It's gonna be fine. I tried to drown myself by summoning my magical hot tub, and it wasn't a bunny lady. It was a beautiful woman with hooves and horns. And that's about it for me. So, Shoggoth?
Howdy ho! Yes, indeed, Leo. You were invited into the Rusty Brass Pot Inn, which was your first objective to be taking. So we'll go from there, entering the common room. You can see it looks more like a combination of barracks, field hospital, and trash heap. Currently, there's huddled in not in a corner, but close to the bar, or what you guess are most of the traders and just townsfolk who were visiting to have a drink, or other merchants. Most of them are looking pretty disheveled at the moment, and the smell that hits you as you enter is it's enough to make any really trashy dock bar where laborers go to drink after a long day of work in the grueling sun green with envy. And most of these people have not had a bath or anything for a while. And you can see there's over by one wall there's a makeshift latrine, mostly with empty bottles with corks put down into them, and what looks like a couple of huge punch bowls covered with sturdy tablecloths. The tavern itself is very brightly lit. Like there are candles under tables, over tables. Seems like they've tried to eliminate anything that can cast a shadow from it. There's obviously been a fair amount of fighting going on. You can see the marks from swords and arrows on the beams holding the roof up on the walls, and all of the windows have been reinforced with both tables nailed up from the inside over them, and pretty much any holy symbol or trinket that they've been able to find in hung up or nailed onto them. Behind the bar, there's an elderly gnomish lady who's cooking. The door open back into the kitchen shows that kitchen's equally lit as the bar you're in. And over by the walls, you can see various and sundry armed men and women and other various genders. Hard to say what a lot of them. Not all of them are human. Most are. Most probably from Golden Glens, but you see both people in the samurai-like armor of the hobgoblins and people with the flared pants and slit shirt sleeves of the Ebon Coast with guns, predominantly the shotgun type like guns, also set up. The two who invited you in seem to be the some of the leaders here in much nicer gear, and well, they also seem to be in better shape than most others here. The satyr turns to Mador, gives him a little bow. It is good to see a Raven Guard knight here. I am Janjit Jopo. Have you taken back the city quarters? Can we move?
That I'm not too sure. This was our area that we're going to try and clean out. There are two other ways going to two different alleys, trying to clear up there.
Wait,
I don't know how the battle goes there.
There are others? Is it? Are you not with the Raven Guard in the city?
I've been away from the city for several months.
Oh my apologies. I thought you were with the local garrison. Please, do you have any news of what's going on outside? Will we be able to move soon? Everybody here is tired, and we have been running very, very low on food.
That's understandable, being tired. But as for what's going on in the other areas, we don't. Excuse me. We're not too sure. We haven't heard any messages from that way. We are to continue to proceed toward the keep. Next stop is the orphanage up ahead.
You should be careful moving around at night. The enemy, they have a vampire. She comes down, duels any knight she can find, and kills them. So far, I think the only one that's managed to stand against her has been your commander, who fought her to a standstill before daytime came, and she fell back. Other than that, it's been several have tried to come and reinforce us and give us food, but it's been very difficult.
Well, at least we can help with some food. I pull out my endless bag of rations.
And talking about messages, I will tell Bruno that we have achieved our first goal.
Right.
I can make a small contribution as well. Magnus very stiffly takes his backpack off and pulls out a large, almost overflowing bowl of fish stew and hands it over.
I'm gonna sniff around for a second, then look at Zara. Be like, there you are. I'm gonna run up, like, touch her pocket. Be like, Vidkun, get out here.
Vidkun comes out. Yes, master.
Go scout the area inside.
Inside.
Just be careful. Yeah.
Yes. I shall scout the cellar first. It smells delicious. Smells very dangerous down there.
All right. You got this.
And he scutters over to in behind the bar and kind of scratches on the lid. You know, the thing you lift to let people down into cellars. Yes, I know words.
The hatch?
The hatch, yes. There we go. Down the hatch. That's where he wants to go. Thank you.
Somebody mind opening that for him?
Yeah, the elderly gnome lady goes over and lifts it just enough for him to scutter down. Another gnome, this one in a very nicely embroidered orange, blue, and silver robes, with a curved, very wide dagger in his belt and a turban. Looks at Iodi like, another practitioner of the great art of alchemy. It is good to see you here. Tell me.
He's like stirring the cauldron that's following behind, and he just kind of like nods at him. Yes, it is good to meet you.
Do your companions need energy? A little pick-me-up, maybe? I have some to spare if you're actually here to get us out of this terrible mess.
That would be handy, since we should shortly be pressing forward. We have some mercenary companies that will be coming up to help provide additional security, but the immediate threat seems to have been slain.
Well, the spirits and ghosts trying to push in here have been they have been terrible to deal with, I will say. But if you have managed to push them back so that they're not howling at the walls right now, then I should be able to spare something for you, my friends. There is a cauldron of energy that you can drink here if you would wish to do so. I would be happy to share what I have with you. You seem like a good sort. Now,
could I give it a little sniff and see if I can tell what it is?
Yeah, sure.
What kind of roll you want, like a crafting roll, or?
Yeah, give us a crafting roll. See if you can kind of identify what he's cooking up and trying to serve here.
While he's doing that, Edamir's just ladling it into a cup and just drinking it.
Yeah. So, what he's got here is a very large amount of healing potion, basically. A weak healing potion in itself, but there's just so much of it. So, Edamir heals for 18.
Zara will drink some as well.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You can basically drink until you're full up.
A fine brew, my friend. It smells wonderful. You do good work.
Thank you. It is an honor to be recognized by a fellow craftsman. I will say it was easy enough having such good access to ingredients. Makes it much easier to get done. So,
I think it would taste a little bit better with some mice in it.
the lady that was more or less constantly whispering in people's ears, trying to get us to surrender. Did you kill her or it?
It was already dead, but now it's in that guy's gloves.
Excuse me?
She has been dealt with.
Ah, very well. That is at least good to hear. She was starting to get to some of the people in the inn here. It would have been bad if we'd worked so hard to keep them alive, and then they go ahead and let her turn them into beasts anyway. You mentioned that you were heading forwards. What to the Orphanarium, was it? You should.
Yes, and then we have to hook around the side and press towards the crypt.
Very well. You should speak to Dorrimush before you leave. I believe he has some information, and maybe Yone as well. The two of them, they are the spellcasters, if you will, of this little expedition. We were. It is good to meet you. We were a mercenary company, or an adventuring band, whatever you wish to call it. Before all of this, now I guess we're soldiers, but hopefully not for long. We come from the Order of the Black Mink. Mador, you want to say something?
We were told about a portal in this tavern. Is that portal secured?
Ah. He turns and looks to the gnome, and she turns, says something into the kitchen in a language none of you understand, and out a very, very handsome halfling, wearing a white frilled shirt that seems newly cleaned and pressed, and some very, very tight red leather pants, otherwise barefoot. A big floppy cap with a huge feather in it, and a rapier and a parrying dagger and a lute. Walks out. Hello, my friends. I hear you know about the portal.
Yeah, we were told that might have been the person who was whispering into your mind's objective.
Ah, yes. The lady who claimed to be a dwarf. I tried to get her to come in here instead to spend the night with me several times, but always refused. Name's Fritz Mägenflüsterer. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Of the Order of the Unobscured Star.
I've never heard of that order.
Well, it's not a surprise you haven't. That's how we like it. But let's just say there are things that go bump in the dark, and there are things that go bump in the night, and there are things that go glorp in the void. And we try to deal with the latter, so that the rest don't have to. But
Glorping in the void doesn't sound good.
from what I hear, it's to be avoided. I try to stay on the ground, travel between the taverns, and look at the portals. Sadly, this one, while stable, is fairly useless currently, because pretty much anything thrown through it seems to go through, I don't know, the elemental plane of cleavers or something like that, because it comes out sliced and diced. We've been able to stay in food thanks to it, although I will tell you, I have had enough spiced grasshopper to last me a lifetime.
You want something else?
Ooh, mademoiselle, hello. And he comes up and kisses Marisol's hand. Aren't you a sight for sore eyes?
Perhaps.
What's such a beautiful lady doing in a place as this?
Killing stuff, saving people, the usual.
Ah, my favorite activities in a potential wife.
Schnitzel?
Yes, please. I haven't had a schnitzel since I was in Friedrichstadt, and that's almost 3 months ago now.
I hand over a plate.
There's a very nice fish stew as well, if you prefer. Just a little spicy. And Magnus limps over for more healing.
I've had enough spice for a lifetime with those crickets and grasshoppers. But thank you for the offer, sir. I will say it's been rough going for everybody here. Really, I think at least the civilians would appreciate all of us getting. Well, I wouldn't be so crude as to say a move on, but at least getting this whole siege business over with. Sieges, well, we can all agree, not much fun.
Sieges seldom are.
So I haven't really enjoyed my time in this siege. I doubt anybody else has.
Not quite certain they're meant to be enjoyed.
I'm quite certain you're right, Madame. Ooh, aren't you a blue beauty? He gently kisses Sarah's hand as well, and from somewhere summons up a rose.
I mean, it depends. If you're under siege in the middle of a brewery with a warehouse of food behind it, then it can be quite enjoyable. Otherwise, no, not so much.
Zara takes the rose and eats it.
Yeah, she notices that she chews down on something really hard, and she gets it out of her mouth. It seems to be the key to a room. And he's like, "Oh, how very clumsy of me! How did that get there?" And kind of disappears up his sleeve again.
Edamir tilts his head at him, be like, "Where's this portal located?"
It's in the kitchen supply closet. Do not ask me why. I was not the one who placed these portals. It lacks a certain je ne sais quoi, if you ask me, to put them out like that. But it is what it is. I cannot do much again about it.
As long as it's not in the cellar, everything's fine.
But right now, well, it's, as I mentioned, it's been good for getting supplies in, but quite bad for anything else. It hasn't really been particularly useful. I would have hoped that the Order would have supported us a bit more actively than they have, but I believe the Order of the Unobscured Star itself is having some challenges. You can see he wants to say more, but he's erring on the side of caution. Just say there's been some unpleasantness in the senior leadership lately. I wouldn't know why. I would not pretend to have any idea of why either. But it is unpleasant. Yes.
Isn't it kind of always like that?
Well, ma'am, of course it is, but in this case, the senior leadership of the Order of the Unobscured Star are, let us say, unorthodox and quite powerful. For them to be doing things is less than ideal.
What exactly are they doing? Could you tell us anything that could, help us, would be beneficial?
Oh, you can see he kind of chews his lower lip and like, well, I can't say too much. And he kind of leans close to Eromir, but I know that some of the senior leadership and the veterans of the Order, they went away for a while, and I don't know what they did or where they were, but some of them came back and they weren't all right. Not all right, like thumbs up, but like they weren't entirely themselves anymore.
Would I be right in saying that some of the senior leadership are the sort of people that attract a lot of attention when they act?
You could say that. But let's just say I've been traveling, checking more things than portals lately. I was hoping to find one of the senior leaders here in this city. It's where she was last seen, I believe. I believe this Golden Glens is her homeland, but I have not found hide nor hair of her, and sadly she's not the type to be found if she does not wish to. But I can say so much as, well, last time I saw her, I knew she had a sword of all white. It was a rather dashing figure, but the reports I've gotten from my scouts and other little birds and foxes, they've described this sword as being all black usually, and her as being very gaunt and thin. The most worrying thing, of course, is that those are the last reports I've ever gotten from any of them. They spot her, they send me a report about it, and then silence.
Captain, I think we should press on.
Yeah, we should.
I think we should inspect this portal a little bit more, though. If things can get in but can't go out, what's stopping? Like, what sort of safeguards y'all got?
Oh, my friend, you are a beautiful fox indeed, and were I of the shape-changing variety, I would make sweet love to you all night. However, I cannot tell you this, partly because I do not know all of them, and mostly because some secrets are not mine to give, especially not when it comes to the defense of the portals. It is... I do not know who or what is listening.
Understood. There's no point in having a secret society if you don't keep it secret.
But there are safeguards, right?
There are safeguards, yes.
Okay.
And as...
Didn't the belly tumbler, or what's his name was,
Toil?
Yeah, Toil. Didn't he speak of a former assassin with a white blade? That she might assist us?
Aye, he did. And there was something about a powerful spellcaster and a golden chair.
Yeah,
There?
run, he said.
Aye, remember that bit.
But yeah, could this be the same person?
Well, a white-bladed assassin, it sounds very much like what I'm looking for. If you should find this lady, I would thank you to let me know. Also, one of the commanders of the order is in the city somewhere. I know for a fact that she is still loyal to the order and hasn't been turned, Yule. Well, let's just say you can't really miss her. She's not unlike your traveling companion here. He nods over to Preacher, except she's seen so much warfare now that only one of her arms is still, let's say, of the original make. The rest of it is mostly clockwork, with just a brain and a mithril case and some other things walking around, but she's a force to be reckoned with. She's a champion, an anointed knight of Turis, if you should come across her. Do what you can to aid her, even though she might look strange. It is still her in there, in all those whirring contraptions.
All right, we'll keep that in mind.
While the rest of you are gathered around him, talking, Yodi has found himself inexplicably drawn over to a table over by one of the corners of the inn. Only one person sitting there, seemingly ignored by everybody else. A very, very handsome human with olive brown skin, hair down in a long black ponytail, dressed in the traditional garb of some sort of plains people. Beads and feathers. He looks up at Iodi, and suddenly his eyes change color to a very, very striking green. And for Iodi, it seems like the entirety of the rest of the room kind of dims. So he looks up at Iodi. Oh, so you're the one they call the dragon. Iodi can sort of feel waves of power emanating out from this person.
Does Iodi know you?
You wouldn't know me. You wouldn't know me, little dragonling. Drakeling. I will not insult you by calling you a kobold, as you are far greater than any kobold I've met, but mistake me not. Calling yourself great, calling yourself a dragon, it's a bit of an insult. I must say, I was expecting something more. Especially from one of my own descendants.
Iodi
Tell
has
me.
insulted you by existing?
Do not take it personally. Most lesser races insult me by existing. You slightly less than anything else, but still, if you want to call yourself a dragon, I'm going to have to see more from you. Much, much more. Tell me, what is your horde? Where are your minions?
Where
What
am
is
I?
it that you are hoarding? Do you even have a horde?
Have you not introduced yourself to Iodi yet? You want to ask many personal questions.
Oh, yes. My apologies. And Iodi finds himself standing in a deep forest, looking up at a enormous green dragon. I am Sikyahona. You are of my blood. And you call yourself a dragon, but you have not answered my question. What is your horde?
Iodi's on his knees with his face on the ground right now.
Yeah, a claw, itself larger than Iodi, comes down and lifts his chin, not gently, hard enough to draw blood, but it's obvious that it could easily just split his head in two if it wanted to.
Iodi has a great horde. And then he pours his money on the ground and his face is back down on the ground.
Sikyahona You can hear it breathing. The sort of rumbling chuckle that makes Iodi's stomach clench even tighter. Money! This is not a hoard. This is how I pay for lunch. Tell me, Dragonling, if you would be one of us, what is it you wish to hoard? And please tell me it's something not money. Or I will have to squish you now, and your companions in this inn will try to intervene, and I will have to kill everyone. And this whole siege situation was just getting interesting. I haven't seen a good siege in 2.5 millennia.
Yodi, Yodi seeks power. Yodi would not like to be part of the clutch anymore. He would not want to be a kobold.
It's a good start. Everybody seeks power, but what power do you want? What do you want to do with your power?
Yodi, he seeks to show everyone. I do not know specifics. I do not want to be this small creature that is kicked in the dirt any longer.
Well, that is good. Tell me, what would you hoard? What wealth is it that you wish? What will bring you the power you need?
Magic?
Ah, that is a much better answer. Much better answer indeed. But what magics? There are so many. Magics of the First Empire, secrets of the One-Eyed Giants, magic of the Second Empire, not to be discounted. The Second Empire, they had more finesse than the First when it came to magic. Not quite as much raw power, but they wielded it better. Magic of dragons, maybe? Demons, devils? Answer me, child.
Yodi would learn it all. Yodi would know all of these things.
And there's another chuckle. The dragon lifts Iodi's head again. He looks into just the head of the dragon itself is probably 4 carts wide at the very least. Its teeth taller and longer and broader than Preacher. It is a good question and a good answer. I will tell you this. I will give you one gift and one demand. And then it reaches with surprising nimbleness with those huge razor-sharp claws in under one of its scales. It takes out a spell book that it places in front of Yodi. This is written in the language of the dragons. And as you can see, it is bound in the hide of a green dragon. One of my great-grandchildren who displeased me. He places it in front of Yodi. You have 2 years to decipher and learn the spells in here. That is not my demand, that is just a fact. It will become apparent to you, the time frame. The demand, however, you are in my territory. Many lesser dragons think this is their territory, and I let them. But this is my territory. Before you leave the city, you will lay your claws on one thing that will please me, and you will gift it to me when I come to you. Do not try to shirk this duty by getting killed. I will resurrect you and kill you again. And then I will resurrect you and kill you again until you learn the lesson and you find something that will please me.
What is it that Iodi must seek, Master?
Well, Clutchling, if you can't figure that out, well, our next meeting, it won't be very pleasant for you, will it? And Iodi finds himself on the floor of the tavern again. But the spellbook is still in his hands. Almost the size of Iodi himself. And obviously bound in the skin of a green dragon.
Well, then Iodi sets himself to trying to read the book.
Right. The rest of you haven't noticed anything except for a small twinge of terror that seems to go through like a wave through the inn before settling. You can see Iodi's found a big book over in the corner to enjoy himself with. As the halfling keeps talking, prattling on. But another spellcaster, this one dressed in also in a long robe, this time blue, mostly with accents of red and gold. He's not wearing a turban, but he's wearing, well, it's the same shape as a fess, but obviously not a fess. And with a long beard and ringlets going down very thick. An elderly human comes out. You are headed to the orphanarium.
Yes.
You must be aware I've been listening to this Kalazir. One of Preacher's hands suddenly crushes the cup he's holding, and he looks kind of surprised at it before it stops shaking. She let on more than she planned to do. But one thing she said in particular, while mocking me, has stuck out. She said that my old soul wouldn't make for a very good undead creature. The younger the soul, the more powerful the creature you can make of it.
Well, it seems like we just got way more of a time limit than people. I can't imagine what she would do to those kids.
Nothing good.
If you have finally laid that annoying prattling undead, and he looks over at Preacher and are you all right? As more pottery shards fall down as Preacher's crushed another glass.
I don't think she likes you.
I think perhaps we should get you something more sturdy than those pottery glasses.
Possibly. Not entirely sure, but this will take some getting used to.
Well, it seems the nuns at that orphanarium, they must have some actual faith, because they've been able to keep the spirits from breaking in with the help of a champion. I've been transporting some of the spiced insects to them to help them ration out some more food, but how long they can hold, it is difficult to say. I heard that he stares out to space for a moment. You must excuse me, I am very tired. I heard this Calasier creature say that once the possessed arrive, my wards will no longer keep them out, because they will be in hosts. I don't know what you can expect going forward, but I don't think it will be only spirits.
No.
We won't find out by staying here.
No. She takes out as many meals as she can in a minute from the bag and packs it down again. I'm guessing the orphans will need food as well.
Isn't that always the way of orphans? Hungry and unloved. Unless they're very, very lucky, of course, but many of the followers of the gods, they read the words, but they don't understand them.
You don't know how true that is about the orphans.
Oh, I do, believe me, I was one. 60 years ago in the great city of... well, it's not important. I do hope you can save them. I just... I'm worried for your souls. This Calasier creature was not the most powerful thing in this part of the city.
No, but she has plagued us for some time, so at least now she won't for a while.
I'm not too sure about that.
Should you find out who these mistresses are, seek me out. I've been studying gods old and new for the last 2 decades. I've never heard of the mistresses or the 3 that are one before. But they must wield some truly terrifying power to actually command an army of this size.
Where do we find you then?
Go to any of the taverns that has a portal and ask for Durrimush. They will make certain that the message comes to me. And I will try to answer your questions.
I understand. Thank you.
Before you leave, I believe there's one person here that says he owes you a debt. A very, very large man gets up from one of the benches and lets his cloak drop. You can see that he's sewn together from various body parts.
The flesh golem.
Hey, I remember you.
You free me.
Yeah.
Give mind back. Part of me once was like you. And he places a huge finger into Magnus's chest. Now, I no longer need. You take. And from his belt, he pulls what in his hand looks like a dagger. And hands Magnus a long saber. Its hilt formed like a rose bush. Or its guard is formed like a rose bush. Its hilt, a very nice diamond. You now take up, protect passion. I stay here, do dishes, And then lumbers into the kitchen.
Thank you. Magnus looks reverently at the blade as he holds it.
Estrella grins at him, slightly touching the rose whip that she has on her belt.
Shush.
From the inscriptions on the scabbard, and not just inscription, but there's various scenes of romance and passion inlaid in the scabbard. It's very obviously a holy weapon of Sorsha and Carissa.
Magnus is just dumbstruck.
Man, they keep these up with these weapons. We're gonna have to change our name to Rose Knights.
Yeah, no one seems to remember what we're called anyway. Not even we. Marisol has found herself a glass of wine and is drinking it quickly.
Don't drink too much, we still have to fight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna paw at the hatch and get somebody open and be like, Vicon, it's time to go.
Preacher quickly scribbles something, quite a long letter, takes about a minute or two, and hands it to. But basically, goes after the flash golem and hands him that, and then without a word, just turns around and goes away again.
Oh, yeah, the flesh golem takes the letter in his huge mittens. I will read. When shift is done. And then he places it behind his apron and starts doing the dishes. He's the only one in there. The dishes seem to be spotless. But he's still doing the dishes, and you can hear him muttering under his breath. Fucking last-minute guests coming in after kitchen has been cleaned. Every goddamn night.
What I wrote down was the basic tenets of the Clayman.
Right. Oop. Son of a... With that done, is there anything else you guys want to do here before leaving?
Did Vidkun notice anything while down there?
Vidkun comes up and is like, Master, much terribly stinky cheese, very obviously made by enemy to poison people here and make them undead. I ate it all. It's been neutralized.
Good work.
Also, small rat skeleton was listening. I ate that too. You can see that he is actually bleeding from some scratches and bites. Vidkun is loyal to you.
Good work, Vidkun. You can find another pocket to rest and heal up in.
Thank you, Master. Yeah. He runs into Vidkun's or into Edamir's pockets.
I don't have pockets.
Well, in that case, he disappears up Marisol's sleeve.
Hey! Whatever. If he eats up my rations, you will pay for them, Fox.
Yeah, I think he'll be full for a while.
Yeah.
If he comes to Iodi's pockets, he will not be eating anything anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll hand him over to Iodi. Speaking of, for the Horde and for luck, Master Yodi, a gold coin.
Yes, and I will give you this because my batch of potions is done today. So I have one for Marisol, one for Preacher, and 2 for Magnus.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yodi.
I
And he
think you
tosses
may
him
need
a gold
these.
coin. I think you're right.
Estrella gets a small note through her ring from Bruno, just saying that the advance up the middle lane is going slowly but well. The advance up the east lane has been slowed down by a cinder spirit with a spectral bear harassing them and slowing them down.
Marisol?
Yes?
It seems like middle lane is doing well, even slow, and the east lane has some troubles. They've been slowed down a lot.
Okay. We need to finish our lane before we can go help them anyway, but I really hope we can. Well, time to save some kids, I guess.
Let's go.
Uh,
Oh, if you need a surprise dagger, she offers Marisol the lady dagger again, the lady knife.
Thank you. I have a few up my sleeve as well. Quite literally, she drops one out.
Yeah,
and
well-
put it back in.
Remember that we can call these between the two of us.
We can. Thank you.
when we get outside, I'm gonna tell Roran to go help the east lane, and just to be careful and be safe. And if it looks too bad, to get out of there.
Yeah, you can see Roran. Roran sits up, chest out, big doggy grin on his face, and he is very ready to go. This is the first solo mission he's been given by Edamir, and you can feel his pride just burning in his chest as he runs off. He is planning on taking that bear on and winning.
I mean, he's as big as the bear now.
I believe he's actually bigger. I don't think
Oh,
that
yeah,
bear
he
had
is.
gotten to be large when Leopold died. So as you exit the inn, you can feel walking out the door. So the magical barrier that's kept the cold and oppressiveness from reaching you as you walk out. The city is very, very cold. It is super unpleasant. There's a light drizzle of rain coming down, and also mist swirling around on the ground now. In addition, it's dark, like proper dark. You're gonna need torches moving forward, even though it's early in the day. And up in the sky, you're not entirely certain what's going on, but there's some. By the way, at some point when we get to sit down at the same table, once me and Arwina won the lottery and can fly everybody over, every time somebody says I got night vision after I've said it's dark, everybody takes a shot.
My liver.
Sounds like fun.
It's going to be alcohol poisoning before 2 hours have passed.
Nah. I survived the Torps incident.
True. But yeah, you can see several spells going off up there. Seems there's a pretty solid magical duel going on. But it's still there's not just too many clouds, but just too many fireworks going on up there for you to be able to discern anything except the fact that there are powerful mages and wizards duking it out up there.
Well, let's get closer to that. I don't know if we're crazy or if we're stupid, but we'll find out.
We're getting paid to be crazy and stupid. Just don't forget to request the bonus pay because it's a fairly spicy evening.
I thought that was your job now.
Yeah, but you seem to like to knock boots with them.
Fair. I'll make sure we get some bonus out of this.
As you're standing there, you hear them before you see them. Steel armor clinking and clashing and people moving. At least 100 mercenaries move up into the square. Walter and Karin come running up to Marisol. Like, Captain Marisol, what's the situation?
Up until the inn is safe, and the inn is a safe haven for a lot of people. We made sure they are fed at least, and we are going to the orphanage.
Very well. What did you face here? What did you fight? What can we expect?
We faced ghosts mainly, and what was that thing that screamed again that made you all want to dunk your heads in barrels?
I can't recall. I didn't get a good look at it.
Yeah, well, it screamed something, and then a lot of people wanted to drown themselves, apparently.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
But the ghost left the moment we got Calisir, and she's now caught somewhere in Preacher, I think.
Caught? You managed to capture a ghost? How do you even do that?
Long
How
story.
does she walk?
Okay. Well, we can hold this place, I'm pretty certain. We've made certain that most of our soldiers have. And you can see now the square is lighting up. Almost every mercenary seems to have a light spell cast on their weapon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, there is a flesh golem and an alchemical golem that you need to be aware of that are hopefully friendly.
They
Try
are
and keep them
friendly.
friendly.
Okay. Golems we did not prepare for, so good thing they're friendly. Also, Master Preacher or Sensei or whatever you want to be called, your men of clay are standing ready. They're the fastest moving infantry element we have right now.
I think they will be best employed to help you. I don't think they will do well with us at the moment.
I believe not. I've scouted ahead a bit, he says, and pats his crow that's sitting on his shoulder on his head. It looks mostly clear going forward. Small groups of zombies, but the mercenaries will take care of them with the not quite as elite troops. Same with any lesser creatures like the lesser shadows and such. But I don't know if you've spent much time in this city. I have not, but I'm noticing it's got a lot of small graveyards.
Yeah.
It is old.
And heading up towards the orphanarium, you're going to be going through one of them.
Yep.
I haven't seen much. I had to to me more To be more correct, Tåkevisker. And he gives another snack to the crow. Had to fly away from there pretty quickly, but I saw mummies.
Ew.
The gnarled brown kind you get from bogs and marshes. Several of them, but also one that had the regalia of an ancient priest. I'm pretty certain there's at least one enemy spellcaster up there waiting for you. And I'd be surprised if there aren't more spirits as well.
Hmm.
So you need to be aware that the opposition is working towards us. Yes, Sarah.
What do I know about the mummies you find in bogs?
Well, you've fought them several times. I'll pull up a picture for you. The bog mummies, unlike most mummies, aren't actually weak to fire. And you, of course, remember that these friggin' things can, as long as you get fairly close to them, try to fill your lungs with water and drown you just from proximity. And of course, like any other mummy, they carry a curse in their touch, in this case, bog rot. That'll kill you in a couple of days and turn you into one of them. Much stronger than a zombie, but not at the level of power that a properly preserved and created mummy with all of the rituals would be. A poor man's mummy or a rich man's zombie.
Well then, good to know.
Didn't we fight these in the garden once?
That you did.
They're probably no more fun to fight this time.
You know they have an affinity for water and being. They love to drown their enemies. They're not exactly mindless, but they're predictable.
Well, thank you for the warning. We'll keep it in mind.
I did some digging. It's not an elite graveyard, you could say. It's not where the city's elites have been buried, but it is where a lot of people from the entertainment district were put down.
So, jugglers and bards?
That sort of thing, yes.
Huh.
You should be careful when it comes to you should be careful when it comes to fighting these things. They could have, I don't know, weird sorts of creatures created just from, all of the. I have no idea. Maybe there's a magician there that can pull under the rabbits out of his hat. I wouldn't know. Just be careful. I wouldn't like to see you get injured. Yeah. He gives Marisol a almost loving grin.
She blushes slightly and discreetly squeezes his hand. I'll be careful.
Should you need us, use a spell or something to signify it. Just be aware that once we take our lesser trained mercenaries into a fight, we probably won't be available, at least not most of them, for the next one. They don't have the experience, magical power, or magical items to actually deal with the sort of enemies that the 8 of you are punching through. And please don't go down, because without the Night Stalkers, we're not going to be able to take any more ground.
We will do our best. And I'll see you on the other side. She winks at them.
She
Yeah.
can't even remember his girlfriend's company name. Rude.
No one remembers our company name.
I'll get you a nice big sign you can wear right where they're all looking.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I kind of like this one.
The Night Stalkers actually sounds kind of good. Anyway, we'll be off, and we'll see you later.
I will see you later. He gives her a grin before you all start sneaking up or moving up. I don't know how you're planning on doing that.
You got it right for Estrella, for sure.
Can't really sneak when you have light.
Yeah, but Estrella and Sarah are obviously sneaking up. Ravensbridge is large, but Estrella and Sarah managed to lead you for almost an hour up towards where the orphanarium is situated. It's not a part of the town you've ever been in before. You do manage to avoid several traps and ambushes, mostly just huge hordes of zombies, several hundred of them. The sort of thing that you could be expected to defeat, but it would drain your resources and it would take you a long while. But it's it'd be about 3:30 in the afternoon as you come up on the graveyard. You can see the sign just says Western Graveyard number 3. And they were right. Walter was very much right. The entire way from the inn towards here has been filled with, the alleyways have been filled with debris or poisonous gas or anything that could really be used to funnel you up towards this very obvious ambush site. But Estrella and Zara, mostly Zara, to be honest. Estrella seems distracted today, as if she's not entirely pulling her weight, so to speak. Hard to say what's distracting her, but I'm going to leave that up to her. But Zara finds a couple of alleyways that have been they've been blocked, but they haven't been blocked well enough. Y'all do manage to sneak up through those alleyways and actually get fairly close, not just to the enemy, but also avoiding several magical traps laid so that they would explode in your faces on the way up. And get yourself a fairly good look at the opposition. In the rear, hiding, but you've seen them pop up from the ground every now and then, or two very evil-looking spectral creatures. These look they look a cut above those shadows you fought earlier. They're further behind, up by the crypts. I'm gonna share this map with you. Hiding inside the ground, basically. And yeah, these things, they definitely haven't got anything nice planned for you. That's for dang certain. It is dark as balls as well. On the western side, there are two heaps of flesh moving with unholy, unnatural speeds. They look dang nasty. In addition, in the rear, you can see one almost not decomposed lady with shuffling cards with one hand and throwing dice with the other. Very obviously dead, but not your regular type of zombie. And then, of course, in the rear, there's another mummy. It doesn't really have the pharaoh look. Looks more like a bishop in large red robes. You can see this has been a cleric of Coronas at some point before they died and were embalmed and buried. But whatever holy power their god gave them in life wasn't enough to defend them from being raised in death. And on that note, we're going to take a 13-minute break for bio and coffee and that sort of thing before we start throwing hands. So we will be back at 8 p.m. in 13 minutes. Time for popcorn and drinks and bio breaks for everybody who need it. And we'll see you in a moment.
You made me so light, rushed in like wind. Remember my life, I wasn't happy. You made all the stars alive. I hid all the pain, told many lies. 2 seconds I was the one you loved. Why does the sun keep on shining? Doesn't it know that I'm dying? Too shy, too drunk, too blind. I say everything that's on my mind. Too fast, too weak, too everything to survive. You take the voice when you call. Know you're about to cut me off. And once you do, just know it's for good. 2 seconds I was the one. Why does the sun keep on shining? Doesn't it know that I'm dying? Give me up, I
picky flavour.
Okay.
There we are. So yeah, you've managed to place yourselves in the alleyways. Doesn't seem like the enemy is aware of you yet, but you can hear the chittering and howling of those fleshy heaps further up the street in the darkness.
Well, once more onto the breach.
Yeah, it's gonna be up to y'all how you want to do it.
Tactics.
Fireball.
It's a good start.
Have to be able to see the fireball.
You could poke your head around. You
Lead
got
the
dark
way,
vision,
Mr.
right?
Fox. You lead the way, sir.
Sarah's gonna sneak over here.
All right, I'm gonna need new sneak checks on this. Feuerball site, indeed. Sarah is she's so stealthy she barely even knows she's there herself. Still can't see much. It is super dark up there.
My light spell did not actually apply light on me.
No, that's not right. There was a place to add light sources in inventories and stuff like that, but I
Yeah,
can't remember
I can
where.
just re-equip the torch. It says I got a torch equipped, but it's actually light spell.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be doing anything for Magnus either.
Magnus equipped, he can see.
He can see now. Okay. There we go. Sarah is moving up. And now she can see them. See them, they're critters. The Irna curses. Sort of feel the unholy madness that these creatures are experiencing as well. Wow. Yodi also super stealthy. Just dum 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 moving up. Can't hum any more of that or we'll get DMCA'd.
And
All right.
Estrella is sneaking up the wall of the house here.
Okay. Give me a perception check for Estrella. Fairly certain she can't see anything untowards. Right, Marisol sneaking up. And as Marisol rounds the corner, you hear the flesh heaps going as they spot her.
Fuck.
And it is on. One of them is just going to start scooting up towards her. Let's see, it is gonna get... You notice one thing about these things, they are not fast. That thing seems to be going as fast as it can, and it does not have a lot of speed. They've been thrown together haphazardly by a necromancer on LSD and are definitely not particularly mobile. That takes us to Marisol, who actually rolled the highest initiative.
Well then, I'm gonna take cover around the corner again.
Bugger this for a lark. Yep.
And then I'll aim and shoot with my dwarven rifle
Gotcha.
at the thing coming towards me, naturally.
Yeah. The beast with a billion tentacles. And that is a miss. No, that's a critical. The Dwarven Slug Thrower is a powerful friggin' weapon for sure. Tears a big asshole in that thing, but it ain't dead. It does, however, get yeeted or pushed back 10 feet from the force of this 1 pound square projectile hitting it.
And that's my turn.
When dwarves make firearms, they don't fuck about. The dwarven word for gunfighter and artilleryman are the same words. It is Estrella's turn.
Nice. Estrella wants to get still a better view of everything and being able to sneak around if needed. So she will continue on towards this pillar over here, or crypt, or whatever it is.
All right. The Fancy Grounds is being twitchy, so I can't see any attempt at movement here. Okay.
Yeah, distance marker.
At least the rangefinder helps us do it. It's a good thing we got laser rangefinders on these characters. Yeah.
And since we are fighting undead here, when an undead comes into reach, she will use her Vine of Roses.
Gotcha. Okay, so she's readied up.
Yeah.
Got a 10-foot reach on that thing, isn't it?
Well, it is a chain, so it doesn't say anything about reach, I think.
Pretty certain it's got that.
It's a 4 foot long length of chain. Group
4
fight.
foot length of chain. In that case, it does not have reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear the moaning of the wraith as it rises from the ground and starts moving up towards where Marisol is, and Estrella does get her attack.
Sweet.
That is a miss.
Even flat-footed? Damn it.
Oh yes. 18 barely hits a goblin. Yeah, it notices Estrella, and it's gonna try to touch her instead.
Nimble dodging.
Let's see. We're gonna need a DC 26 Fortitude save from Estrella first, just because she feels like an aura of heavy fatigue from this thing, but she ignores it.
She knows fatigue. She can fight it.
Yep, and then it's gonna try to reach out and touch her.
Nimble dodging.
Gotta be careful, Shoggoth. You're in a good mood, but we could get DMCA'd for that. The nimble dodge barely rescues her. The claw of the wraith pulls out. Estrella just yanks her head back, and a couple of strands of hair that are too slow to get out of the way just go gray, and as the wraith's hand passes through them. That's the wraith. It's Preacher's turn.
Yep. Since I have no idea what's going on further up, I will simply go into stance, move up to the pillar I think is ahead of Marisol.
Yes, sir.
And then basically see what I can see. I only see the one thing in the middle, so I'm going to ready up and hold my ground here, attacking the first thing coming close.
Very well. Dum 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 dum. How in the world? Okay. Interesting. The undead bishop moves up, and you can hear. And let's see. Does any of you speak Necril? I'll just do a little test.
Not I.
Not a single soul. Okay. You can hear him shouting and chanting about something, but you have no idea what. It's in the unholy language of the undead. This creature here is going to come flying up to attack Marisol. Woo! And I believe it's halfway in the pillar, getting ready to attack Marisol. These wraiths are huge as well. They're basically the size of a small giant. But I believe Preacher was readied.
Yep. Hello. In that case, I will. Can I actually do a flurry of blows for this one?
I can't see why you wouldn't.
All right. In that case, I'll try and grab him on the second one.
That is a hit with the attack, but he is incorporeal and can't actually be grabbed. Do you have Ghost Touch, by the way?
Yes, I do.
You do. He still can't be grabbed. But the Lorona ghost that you grabbed last session actually has a special ability in its stat block saying that it can grapple, even though it is ethereal. This thing doesn't.
Okay.
But it is a hit with the attack.
Both of them?
Excuse me?
Did I hit with both strikes?
You hit with the second strike.
Okay.
First one's a miss.
Yeah, Ghost Touch definitely lets you grab incorporeal creatures.
Incorporeal. Well, Quinn is the master of the rules, so I'm just going to trust him on it. In that case, that wraith is grabbed.
Flat-footed, immobilized.
Gotcha. Zara. Speaking of rules master.
Zara is going to touch her nose with a wand of blur and blur herself.
Right, so Zara is now PG-13 instead of rated R as she usually is.
And then I am going to do my esoteric lore on the leftmost Ina curse.
Yeah. The flesh heaps. Yeah. It's interesting, actually, to some of the spirits in your head are kind of intrigued with this, because this is a very, very special type of undead creature, usually made by evil drow, worshipping the god of beasts and monsters, and not really undead as such. But whoever it is that's running the show here has managed to make them. Even though you're fairly confident that even most of the gods do not know how these creatures are made. It's a well-kept secret by the god of monsters. So somebody's been out here and stealing knowledge. They are aberrations. If you have any weapons, work against that sort of thing. No specific weaknesses. They're fairly hard to hit. They can take a beating. The biggest issue with them is that their tentacles, once they lash people, can overwhelm the mind and actually stun whoever they hit. And they can also shriek and cause confusion and just ruin the combat capability of anybody within a short range. In addition to that, they're very good at using the large amount of tentacles they have to just tear shit apart. It's mostly the little mind tricks are nasty, but just the storm of tentacles is the real danger. They can cause a lot of physical damage in a very short time. They're not, however, undead, so it's strange, and many of the spirits, especially the ones that have belonged to the one in your head that's belonged to a drow that actually used to make these when it was alive, is almost offended that somebody else has crafted a holy monster of the god of monsters and is using it, but not on his behalf.
Interesting. That is my turn.
And that is your turn. Very well. That takes us to Edamir.
I will move up to there. And cast Sudden Bolt on the right flesh heap.
Gotcha. I believe that is a 2-hit roll. Or is it just a save?
Nope, it's a reflex save.
Reflex save. And what is the difficulty on that, sir?
27.
Well, this thing actually opens a hole in itself. Try to dodge the sudden bolt. So that is a success, but not a critical success.
All right.
So that is half damage. Does it have any other interesting effects?
No.
Very well. Thank you very much for that.
That'll be it for me.
What in the what? What in the hoo-ha? Oh, okay. I've added one too many of these. Wait. All right. Dum 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 dum. Zum bum bum ba dum bum. Am I? Nope. I'm not as crazy as I thought. This thing is going to come shuffling in towards Zara. It's not stupid. It's going to stay at its maximum range. There we are, and it's going to try to slap her with a tentacle. That I do believe is a hit on Zara.
Don't forget that I have blur on.
That is true. So that's a flat DC 5, is it not?
Yep.
That is still a hit. So it smacks Zara for 21 piercing damage. In addition, we're going to need a DC 28 will save. Zara saves. She will also be immune for the next 24 hours to the madness of those tentacles. Mador!
Okay. I'm going to just take 5-foot step and shoot at the rightmost fleshy thing with a crossbow.
Yeah. You fire the crossbow bolt off at the creature, and it actually, just in its mad flailing, you can't really account for that sort of thing, slaps the crossbow bolt so it flies down south, hits the pillar behind Preacher, and I'm gonna need a DC 18 reflex save from Preacher. Yes, Mador.
I don't know if Instagram, but on mine it showed it was an 8. It showed it was a 18, a 19, not a 1. It was standing on the 19.
It looked like it was in the middle for me, but it popped up as a 1.
Yep. We're gonna stick with whatever Fancy Grounds tells us it is. That's just the easiest way of doing things. Preacher, however, does dodge the crossbow bolt. And that means you have one more action, Mador.
Just calling forth the glaive and prep, move up behind here.
There we are. Thank you. That takes us to the great, or the green great dragon himself, Iodi.
But I'm a brass dragon.
What I know? I know nothing. I'm from Barcelona.
I will move here.
Very well.
And then Yodi's gonna... He's gonna clap his hands and do a little wizard jutsu, and I'm gonna cone a cold in front of me. It's a 60-foot cone, so I'm pretty sure I hit all three of those guys in front of me.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to disappoint you there. I'm not even certain you can hit 2 with a cone of cold right now. The way cones work. Let me just.
Is it just a cone like this out in front of me?
Not technically by the rules, but
It's not a slash as such. I'll see if I can find the template and send it to you so that you can see what a cone of cold or a cone looks like, and maybe you wanna. I'll let you reposition if you want, because cones are not as easy as to use as that. Let's see, copy link address. I'm gonna just drop it into the Pathfinder chat so that everybody can have a look at what cones actually look like in Pathfinder. There is a I really should pick up. There's a template DLC for this game that I ought to pick up so that you guys can use it. You can see it starts out much fainter, and then it ends in a 60-foot, way further back than you are currently. So you'd have to be. I know what you want to do, and I'm pretty certain you can do it. But I think you'd have to be roughly there to be able to hit all 3 of them with the cone.
I was aiming at the guy in the gambler in the back and the mummy and that guy. The guy in the middle. That's why I went there, because I drew a 60-foot range and then marked it out, but I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just...
The gambler. Yeah, you can probably hit the Inokers and the gambler. I don't know who the third one you'd want to hit from where you are is.
I mean, the mummy was within 60, so I was putting the mummy in.
Right.
Because if you see where I'm like... where I'm
simplicity's sake, we're gonna say that it works. And before next Sunday, I'll just pick up that template DLC. Now that we're actually dealing with template spells, because last campaign I think Tasha used almost exclusively single target spells. Yeah. It's good to know. Okay, what's the save DC on this thing?
It's 27.
27. Reflex, fortitude. Reflex. Let's see. The Inner Curse has a critical success. The mummy fails, and the croupier. Where my bone croupier at? That is a crit fail. Okay, so the bone croupier is just frozen to a solid ice cube. And is completely and utterly destroyed by that cone of cold. So many fun things that I'm never gonna get to use. And the mummy does take a fair amount of damage from the spell as well. Let's see, that would have been Roran, but it's not. Takes us to Magnus.
Magnus is gonna march up next to Preacher and take a strike at the Dread Wraith.
Gotcha.
Okay, and because he's using Blade Ally, he's got Ghost Touch on this sword.
Ah. I have no idea what Blade Ally is, but it sounds dope. That is a hit. Let's see. Yeah, it hits. It does some damage noticeably, especially since the Ghost Touch is present. That is a terrible roll on damage, though.
It really is. Okay, Magnus, sorry, is just going to raise his shield for his third action and try and shut it up for Marisol.
Gotcha. In that case, out of the water, 4 bog mummies come storming. Just gonna make them visible here. Because they've been waiting for somebody to become a tasty snack.
Oof.
Oops.
I'm gonna need a DC 19 fortitude save from Estrella. Well,
No
she's not
problem.
drowning. But there are a lot of bog mummy fists coming for her. Miss.
Nimble dodge at least once.
Hit. You used nimble dodge towards the wraith this turn.
Oh yes, you're
Hit.
right.
Hit. Hit. Crit. Miss. Okay, so that's gonna be 16 damage, 12 damage, 12 damage, 12 damage, damn, and 23 damage from the storm of fists suddenly pummeling the crap out of Estrella. And I will need a DC 21 fortitude save.
Fortitude again.
It's a total of 75 bludgeoning damage to Estrella as well.
75? Wait. You said 16, 12, 12, 23.
12 and 23, yes.
Yep.
Trust me, I've done head math for damage since 1991. This is the one type of math I'm good at.
Yeah, that hurt quite a lot, but I managed my fortitude save, so...
Yep. And that takes us all the way around to this creature here. It ain't these flesh heaps aren't the quickest of cats, so that it's gonna keep moving towards what was its main target. And it is now Marisol's turn.
Yeah, Preacher is holding that rat, isn't he?
The Wraith, yes. He might be wrathful as well. I don't know. That's up to him.
But I'm gonna pull back from him. And hide behind that pillar there.
Gotcha. You do that easily enough.
And then I'll aim again at the thing that's scrambling towards me and shoot it.
Yeah, the beast with a billion tentacles.
Yes, it is disgusting.
That is entirely correct. This thing has been going hellbent for leather, so that is actually a hit.
$23 then.
Yeah, it's bleeding pretty heavily from the. It's only been hit twice, really. It managed to kind of roll its flesh fast enough that none of the cold actually managed to damage it. It's just slightly chilled, at the effect of an AC instead of a cold. But it's bleeding pretty heavily from those two shots that Captain Marisol's put into it. I mean, each projectile for the dwarven slug thrower is about the size of a can of Coke. So getting hit by that thing is definitely not pleasant. Speaking of not pleasant, it is Estrella's turn.
Yeah, and Estrella definitely tries to break free from all of this. So I will do an acrobatics to get out, or does any of those have attack of opportunity? Because she will definitely sprint over to where our Foxy Fox is.
Well, you're about to find out.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I forgot because I have not played Sniper for very long, but the precision damage I did first round, that's bleed damage as well.
Oh, handy piece of information to have that right there. Okay. Right, back to Estrella.
Yep, and she is also activating her quick runner's shirt for this. So 3 movements with a quick runner's shirt as well. That should definitely bring me behind my door.
Okay, give us an acrobatics roll. Do not roll a 1. I like Estrella. I would hate to see you have to make a new character.
This
Ooh.
looks good.
That looked scary for a moment there. But yeah, Estrella, the quick runner shirt actually lets her speed just sprint over that water. You can just hear kind of a splish splash sound as she runs too fast to actually fall into the water.
She knows how to run in water as well, so...
Yeah, so she ends up behind my door. And there's some very confused and very annoyed mummies up there that thought they'd found lunch. And then it just went like... There's just a little Estrella-shaped outline of dust left after she's disappeared. That's Estrella's turn?
Actually, I think 35, the quick runner shirt gives me 10 additional... Yeah, even with the quick runner shirt, I don't have an action left to touch the fox, I think.
Nope. Just for smoothness of play, if you've forgotten something and you want to tell me, do it on one of the monster's turn and not another player's turn, so we don't interrupt each other. You can step on my toes as much as you want, but don't step on each other's. That takes us to the Wraith. Wraith? Lack of sleep, making itself felt. This thing, sort of pissed off that Estrella disappeared, is going to fly over to towards Eodi. Ooh. And it's going to try to touch him.
I do not consent. No consent. He cannot touch
Yeah,
me.
and that seems to work as well. The Wraithly hand comes down, and Eodi's like, and it misses completely. And actually spins a couple of times. It is now flat-footed for the rest of the turn. Preacher.
Well, since I have a handy grip on this wraith, I'm just gonna pummel it. So
Imagine being a
blows.
ghost and getting the shit kicked out of you by somebody's fists. That's got to be just both confusing and frustrating.
Yeah, well, it should be.
2 hits.
In that case, that's zap.
Okay. This raid is straight up not having a good time right now.
And then we continue on with more punishment, I hope.
It is flat-footed, so that's a hit.
And the
Jeez.
last strike coming in at...
That's a hit. A powerful fist as well. Yeah, Preacher basically holds onto that wraith and just pummels it so hard that it discorporates and goes into the Foreverlands.
New name, Ghostbuster.
Right. This bro. He's gonna shuffle his ass up. The undead bishop moves up to Preacher and the others, and Preacher, Magnus, and Marisol. I will need a DC 26 will save from you. Oh, that looks like a 1 was coming in. Magnus as well. He's busy right now. Well, I'll roll it for him.
I'm back.
DC 26 will save, please.
Okay.
Incoming bishop.
Ooh. Magnus and Marisol are both overwhelmed by the just insane amount of despair rolling out of what's left of the mind of the once powerful cleric of good, now turned into an undead creature. And both of them are paralyzed for 2 turns.
Ugh.
And this thing is gonna try to smack Preacher as well. That is a hit, and I'm going to need a, where is it? DC 26 Fortitude save from Preacher.
Take a liberating step, Preacher.
In addition, he's punched for 21 minus 9, so 12, and can move up to 10 feet.
Is he allowed to use actions when he's paralyzed? Or reactions?
No, he's not. So no liberating step. That's just 21. Thank you, Tulmar. Inspiration for you. Yeah, Preacher can feel just from being touched that the Clayon in them is starting to warp. It's like an infected wound. It's a pulsing from where he was hit by that mummy. And speaking of pulsing, it is Zara's turn.
I'm going to move adjacent to the Earn Curse. And then make a duplicate of myself on the other side of him. They.
Gotcha. It's probably they, honestly. They would need way more than one body to make this thing.
You can do anything with enough, alchemical horror. And then I'm going to wham him with a hammer.
Yeah, one thing going for necromancers, they're way into recycling. Ooh.
Or I'm not going to wham him with a hammer.
Sara swings the hammer, and she can hear a crunch from behind her as she swings that hammer. As she breaks the lantern, some of the oil spilling down the back of her legs and giving her 3 fire damage. In addition, that's a DC 10 reflex save to not be set on fire. She's fine. Edamir. It is Tiny Fox time.
I will cast Disrupt Undead on the Wraith by Yodi.
Gotcha. Is that a save or a 2-hit?
A save. Basic Fortitude.
Basic
27.
Fortitude save of 27. Gotcha. That is a crit fail.
You're breaking up. Sorry, what was that?
I said that is a critical failure, sir.
Cannot hear you. Is it me?
Critical failure.
Yeah.
I think it's you, bad boy. I think your headphones are dead, dude.
Biscuits.
Check, check.
Can hear you fine. Can you hear us? I think not.
I sent him a text.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him in a VHF radio or something.
He's a little bit out of reach for that one.
Depends on what kind of antenna you use.
I think it's a power source issue. There's some legal repercussions for putting enough juice to reach him.
I've got a fun story about VHF antennas I'll tell at some point, but it won't be on stream. Right. I'm just going to check that spell for Edamir and then roll his damage while he fixes this. Doom, 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 doom. Disrupt undead. Oi, undead! 5d4 plus 6, so that's going to be 10d4 plus 12 with the crits. Edamir does 21 damage. And then seems to be too busy listening to something to keep going, so we're going to just go forward while he fixes his issues. The Ilnakers next to Zara is going to try to smack her 4 times with its tentacles. Let's see, let me just check this. Nope, I was wrong. It's not going to do that. It's going to try to smack her 3 times with its tentacles. And that is a miss. And a critical miss. It manages to actually get some of that lamp oil over itself and set itself slightly on fire. Mador, it is your turn, sir.
I'm going to step up behind Zara and swing the glaive at that beast.
Yeah, he would have reach, so go for it, sir. That is a hit. Smacks it pretty good. There's a lot of flesh to slash through, though, so this is going to take a while. That is a hit, critical hit. And Mador takes a solid chunk out of it with the next slash, cutting off several tentacles. It is obviously severely wounded. Speaking
That's my turn.
Speaking of severely wounded, it is Eodi's turn, and he is not severely wounded.
Yeah, okay. Eodi bops himself on the head, and I'll cast Mirror Image on myself.
Very well. Suddenly, several Eodis.
Don't worry about the blur, because
okay.
I have a talent that lets me have 2 spells in the same slot. So I have Blur and Mirror Image, so I burn that.
Gotcha. Cool.
And
So what's the mirror image do? Just real quick, like.
Yeah, okay. It is 3 illusory images of you swirl about your space, potentially causing those who attack you to hit one of the images instead of you. Any attack that would hit you has a random chance of hitting one of the images instead of you. If all 3 images remain, there is a 1 in 4 chance of hitting you, 1 on a 1d4. With 2 images remain, etc., etc.
Gotcha.
And then I will move there, and that's my turn.
That's Eodi. Gotcha. That takes us to Magnus.
Magnus is frozen in place.
That is true. That is the first of 2 turns of him being paralyzed.
Yeah, I don't think there's any mental effects that. No, all the spells are
Pretty certain you're not a psionic, so
yeah, I'm stuck.
Then it's time for hungry bog mummies. Because all 4 of them are storming down. That's going to be their turn, though. And this time for this, they come into, but not out of your threatened area, and as such, no attack of opportunity. However, you will get 1 attack of opportunity as the flesh heap moves down towards Marisol.
Really?
And that is actually a miss. Yep. And the flesh heap itself just smacks the immobile Marisol for 21 damage, and I'm gonna need a DC 28 will save from Marisol as well. Well,
Yeah.
she's gonna be immune to that effect, but it still hurts. She can't do anything to dodge.
21?
Yeah. 21. And that is turn 1 of Marisol's 2 turns of being paralyzed, so now it's Estrella's turn.
Yeah, and Estrella is going to pet the fox, and if Edame can hear me again, please tell me how much I heal.
Yep. 1 second.
Good to have you back, Edamir.
Yep. Okay.
Petting the fox, dude.
Yeah. And I'm not calling anything else because my next action depends on how much I heal.
Gotcha.
Trying to roll it. Come on, roll.
Sound like you have an angry blender in your background.
That would be my PC.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Doubles as a camp stove.
All right. Then I will actually drink less elixir of life as well for that.
Okay. That's going to be your turn, your actions.
Yeah.
Very well.
Plus 6 is 12. All right. Got it.
In that case, this wraith is going to keep flowing after Eodi. I'm going to need a DC 26 Fortitude from Eodi for its draining presence, because just being close to it is enough to make you feel tired. And indeed, Eodi is actually drained 1 just from being in its vicinity. It's like having to spend 16 hours listening to an accountant talk about the finer points of doing accounting, just condensed into 2 seconds. And then it's gonna try to touch Eodi. Let me check this dude's AC. First one's a miss. And second one is a hit, but does it hit Eodi? No. One of his illusions winks out of existence. It is now Preacher's turn.
The large flesh mound that passed by me,
Yes.
is he within attack range?
Not for you. You don't have reach.
God dang it. In that case, I guess I have the bishop and I have the mummy next to me.
That's correct.
Very well. I will try and focus on the bishop then.
Very well.
We'll begin with a flurry of blows. 1 attack and a grab.
Gotcha. First attack. Hits. Second attack. Miss.
Dang it. In that case, damage.
21. Yeah, you can see he's got a very, very well-made, obviously magical full plate armor under those robes, but against Preacher's adamantine gloves, it's like he's wearing cardboard armor.
Okay. Just checking one thing. In that case, I'll try and strike him twice more.
Punchy, punchy. That is a miss.
And the last one.
That is also a miss.
And then?
And it's his turn. He hisses. He's going to use one action to disengage and pull out another to pull out his long spear. While he's doing that, you can hear him muttering like, "There is no escape. This city will fall. We will all fall to the mistresses. Death floats on a golden throne." And then he's going to try to poke Preacher with that long spear of his. Which Preacher, that is he obviously knew how to use that spear in life, but Preacher does manage to knock it out of the way with his fists. It is Zara's turn.
Okay, Zara will make a duplicate of herself on the other side of the fleshy heap.
Very
She
well.
will then intensify the vulnerability that she has applied to it, which gives her an extra +2 to hit. And then she is going to swing her hammer.
It is definitely Homicide. That is a critical hit.
Then he takes 40 damage and is prone.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah knocks it flat, but it kind of just flows. Other parts of it kind of just flow up into tentacles again. It doesn't look like this thing understands the concept of prone, but she smacks it very, very hard. Is that Sarah's turn?
That is Zara's turn.
In that case, it is Edemir.
Question. That middle top bog creature, it's in a
Yes.
half square.
Yeah, we'll move it there to make it more better.
Alright. I am going to cast Lightning Bolt through those three.
Ah, shiny. And that is a reflex DC. What now?
27.
Oh wow! You are, or I am. One of us is on a roll. That is a crit fail from the wraith. So that thing gets hit pretty hard by that lightning bolt. Seems to have also incorporated at the exactly wrong time as it is hit by the lightning bolts. And then it's the bog mummies. Take me down to Paradise City. That's a crit fail from both of them, actually. So we'll just use the same damage for everyone.
Sounds good.
You can see they get slightly more electrocuted than you would have expected. Might have something to do with them being filled with water. The Ernakers fighting Zara is going to try to smack both Zara and Mador. Just flailing tentacles going everywhere. That is a hit on Zara and is that a critical? Yes, it is. A crit on Mador. Also going to
Did
need
you roll against my blur?
also going to need a DC. I did after you said it. DC 28 will save from Mador. You guys are on point with your rolls and saves today. Mador does not care about the madness from it either. He's just like, well, I've been to markets on Black Friday before. I don't care about this. But that is 20 piercing damage to Zara from the tentacle and 51 piercing damage to Mador as it smacks him in the throat. Doesn't go through the armor, but it hurts like the dickens anyway. Speaking of Dickens and hurting things, it is Mador's turn.
Swinging away.
Swinging. Like, oh, that's a critical. $27. That's a fair amount of damage right there. Although that's a terrible damage roll. He cuts off a couple of the tentacles. This thing is now reeling. Obviously very injured. And that's another hit. With his second swipe, Mador takes out not only the tentacles, but the trunk as well, killing it.
All right. Proceeding to my next target. My final move.
Gotcha. Can't see where you want to go, but just pull out the ruler or the rangefinder to tell me where you want to be placed. There we are. Yep, you're going to be able to... That's it. Yep, you're going to be able to smack that thing from there. Speaking of smacking, it is Eodi's turn.
I really liked Ed's idea because I was doing a very similar thing.
Ooh,
So I'm going to combat roll over to here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use the wand of crackling lightning, which is a widened lightning bolt, and I will hit all 4 of the targets across from me and the wraith.
Oh my! And what is the DC of that? I turned into
27 reflex.
Turned into that rooster from Disney there for a moment. You have got to be kidding! That is the second natural one in a row that Wraith rolls on its reflex save. It's actually Wraiths have great reflex saves. Who would have guessed? So the Wraith just goes poof. As it's already crackling with lightning from Edemir, and then Eodi hits it again and just sends it reeling. The bishop has a successful save, so that's going to be 23. And those two bog mummies that were already hit or also just explode into very smelly pieces from the electricity, while the last one takes a fair bit of damage. And both Marisol and the Magnuses, you can see out of Magnus's helmet, his bear is kind of standing out due to the static electricity. Marisol looks like she's underwater with her hat being held up by her hair standing right up. And that is Magnus's second turn of being paralyzed, so he gets to act next turn. The bog mummy in front of Preacher is going to punch Magnus 3 times. So that is 14, and 13 damage, and I'm going to need a DC 21 Fortitude save from Magnus. He's fine. Don't worry about it. The other bog mummy is going to move up here and punch at Preacher. They look like they're slightly faster now that they're close to the bishop. That is a miss. And that is a miss. Any undead creature so far that's tried to go into a boxing match with Preacher has had a terrible time, and this is no different. The Irnakers is going to just smack Marisol 3 times with its tentacles. So that is 19, 18, and 22 damage to Marisol. For a total of 59. And it's Marisol's second turn of being paralyzed, so now she gets to act next turn. Estrella.
Yeah, Estrella sees that Marisol is in a pretty bad position. So even though I will not be able to attack at the end of this turn, she is going to use her movement to move up to this flesh thing to provide a different target.
Right. She just comes sprinting across. You can hear the heroic music as she comes running. It is Preacher's turn.
Target-rich environment. The bog mummy straight north of me that's attacking Magnus is the first one.
Gotcha. That thing has taken a fair bit of hits from lightning, so it's looking a bit unsteady.
Okay. Flurry blows to begin with. Grab second.
That is a critical and a critical.
Yeah, okay. Grab might not be necessary.
Grab will most definitely be superfluous, as Magnus, with 2 mighty blows, just disintegrates that bog mummy.
The bog mummy next to it takes 2 + 2 lightning damage from my fists.
Shiny.
And then I turn my attention to him instead.
Gotcha. There's a lot of lightning going on in this fight. That is a miss. That is a hit. Good hit, too. Yeah, this bog mummy must have been very pleased with itself to have avoided the electricity, and then Preacher comes along and just starts clowning on it. The bishop is going to try to poke Preacher 3 times with his spear. Roll to hit before you roll damage, Shoggoth. Preacher isn't paralyzed. That is 1 hit, though. And a miss. And a miss. But it pokes Preacher for 22 damage with the spear. Zara, it is you.
Zara will take 2 actions to move here.
Nyum.
and then she will make a clone of herself right here.
Gotcha.
That is all my actions.
Edemir.
I will move there. There and there, and that's all my actions.
Yeah, Fox comes pattering over. It is Mador's turn.
All forth crossbow and shoot the bishop.
Gotcha. That is a hit, sir. Your everything except your damage dice is cooperating today, so that's nice to see. Your damage dice are they leave something to be desired still. It is Eodi's turn.
Oh,
My bad.
I'm gonna move up.
Gotcha.
The rest. Yep. Which I believe that's 2, right?
Yep. Move up, move on up. Move up, move on up. There we are. And now it's Eodi's turn.
Okay. I will move to there. And
Very well.
I will get the kaleidoscope of colors, and I will use chromatic ray on the bishop.
Oh, is that a save or a 2 hits?
I have to hit him.
Gotcha. You do hit him.
Then, hold on, let me see what I gotta roll. It's a D8. Which would be blue. The ray has the effect of flesh to stone. On a critical hit, the target is clumsy 1 as long as it's slowed, and etc.
Oh.
Oh no, I was supposed to do a D4. I was looking at the upgraded. My bad. Hold on. It's actually a poison ray. 25 poison to the target. They must succeed a fortitude save or be enfeebled 1.
He is sadly completely immune to poison.
Checks out.
Yeah. Sort of undead, you know. It is Magnus's turn. And he can now do something.
Yes, he can. And for which he says, "Oh, thank God for that!" And steps forward, right between the tentacle thing and Marisol. And then he's going to take a whack at it with the grieving blade.
That is a hit. This thing is now reeling. You can see it's actually starting to turn pale due to the amount of blood loss it's taken from the shot from Marisol as well.
And that's 2 turns, and Magnus says to it, "You'll not touch my friend again," and raises his shield.
Very well. That takes us to the flesh heap, which I think this is the first time since I started DMing in 1991 that something actually dies from this, but it falls over, having bled out from the bleeding wound from Marisol. Which takes us to Marisol, who can now act.
She shakes her head and she's like, "You're going down." Out of her sleeve, her iris of the sky appears. She takes careful aim and shoots at the thing that froze her.
Yes, the mummy bishop.
And she swears to the iris of the sky that this thing is going down.
Because mummies always do so well with fire damage. A hit or a miss, actually. Well, she hits it. Which is good, because at her hit points, it wouldn't be good for her to be on fire.
That was the wrong thing, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. And so the first one is 5 precision damage, which is also bleed, and then 6 damage, which is persistent fire damage.
Right. So, yeah, the bullet hits the mummy, goes into it, cavitating the wound. And
And it's also not a bullet anymore, it's fire damage. All of it.
the cavitation effect actually pulls more of the fiery gas into the mummy, and then compresses, causing the gas to reignite, causing an explosion in the chest of the mummy, blowing it out, and the thing falls down in 2 pieces.
That's for freezing my friend. I reload.
Right. It's now Estrella's turn.
Yeah. And I want to tumble behind that last undead there.
Very well. Give us your acrobatics roll.
My acrobatics. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, that is masterfully done.
Yeah. And she is using her Vine of Roses against a now flat-footed creature with
That's
flanking.
a hit. With sneak attack.
Exactly. Also, the nice thing is that it has the positive to undead.
Oh, yes. So Estrella wraps that spike chain around its neck and just yanks its head right off like a champagne cork. And it falls to the ground, defeated.
And that's how you do it. Everyone okay?
Not really.
Yep.
You should
So-
pet our fox, Marisol.
I still have 2 pets. And then I also have healing if anybody needs it.
I'm gonna go over and pet the fox. Scratch him really good behind the ears.
Estrella, are you okay?
Well, that kinda hurt, but it has gotten better. We'll leave a few bruises, that's for sure.
Well, if nobody else needs to pet Edemir, then I'll do it.
I could do with it. That
Go ahead,
bishop
Preacher.
had some kind of weird effect on me.
Aye, go ahead, Preacher. I'll just patch myself up.
Now I'll give you that healing, and then I will cast Healing Well.
We're gonna stop in the middle of a churchyard and we're gonna have a bath. I love it.
No. That one's different. This one, anybody can tap it up to 5 times for the whole thing and regain 48.
Okay.
So, who's up first?
Me.
Zara's gonna take some as well.
Yeah, I would also like some.
All right, Zara. Then whoever's next. 3 more charges.
I'll have one.
Yeah, Estrella was third, I think, then Preacher fourth.
And last charge.
Marisol, you okay?
I could use another one.
You are Medora then.
Then I'll step back and let Marisol take it.
That bishop really had something going for it.
There's a metallic thunk as a humanoid form lands in the middle of you. It's vaguely femininely shaped. You can see most of the torso is encased in armor, but the right arm and both of the legs are mechanical. None of you can even start figuring out how they work, but you see all sorts of clockwork, gears and things turning in between plates of armor. And the face is just the unmoving metallic face of a woman. Must have been a beautiful woman. At least that's what the face is shaped as.
I will look at her with my special eye.
She is dressed in the black and white of a champion of tourist and lawgiver. Speaking with a metallic voice, I'm not even going to try to replicate. She looks up at you like, strange. I thought there would be somebody else here. Who are you? Where are you going?
We are the Might Thorns. We're going to save the orphanage.
That is a good objective. Have you seen a gaunt lady with a black blade?
No.
She looks up at Marisol. Are you the commander of these soldiers?
Yes, I'm the captain of this company.
Very well. I don't know if you know what's going on here, but inside the castle of whatever noble ruins this town, there's a stone. Ancient magic. It weakens the undead and the otherworldly forces here. You need to get in there and make certain it's not destroyed as soon as you're done rescuing the orphans.
Okay. Can you tell us anything about where we can find the stone?
I can. It's and as she speaks further down the street, out of the mist, you see a tall, gaunt is the wrong description for her. Really, it would be impossible for a human, which you're fairly certain she was at some point, to live, becoming that thin and losing that much body weight. She comes up. Karen is dueling her with her two-handed blade, but this creature easily blocks the two-handed sword with a long, curved black khopesh, and then holds her hand out and just disintegrates Karen. You can see her fall into dust. The creature you're talking to looks up at Marisol. You need to run. I will hold it off.
Right. People,
Somebody pick me up.
I'm gonna scoop you up on my shoulder and start running.
And on that note, we will end today's session. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We will, unless something untoward happens, be back next Sunday. We try to start at 1700 CET. We mostly fail, but we try. If you want to be be updated on the Discord, for now, you can head over to Twitch TV/Shoggoth and join the Discord there, or Twitch TV/Tulmar and join the Discord there. And at some point, we'll have our own Pathfinding Adventures Discord, but we're not quite there yet. For now, though, stay safe, stay healthy, and be well. Thank you all for coming. This episode will be up on YouTube as well within the next 2 or 3 days, depending on how lazy I feel. But for now, thanks for coming. Goodbye. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next Sunday.
Bye.
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 Bye!
Bye.